Support the Amigos podcast and keep the Amiga goodness flowing for just $1 a month. Visit our page at patreon.com/AmigosPodcast.
Amiga, the first personal computer that gives you a creative edge.
Amigos, the podcast about everything Amiga. Amigos is a proud member of the Throwback Network, your home for quality retro podcasts. And now, here are your hosts, Aaron Dowdy and John Bodovkar Schaller.
Hi everybody, welcome to Amigos. I'm John.
And I'm Aaron.
And today we're going to be talking about hired guns.
Whoa! Don't do that.
Or...
Those are the guns?
Those are the guns,
Man,
baby.
You got ripped off on those hirings. You got 12 to choose from, you picked that one?
Hey, I got 4-inch pythons, baby.
Were they in a cage in the back?
Yes, they're not
Yeah,
present.
you got a couple loose threads on your shirt. That's what you got.
We got some feedback from the last
Can't
episode.
be good.
Actually, it was a guy. He's a couple weeks late, but he entered correctly. The song was "I'm Still Standing" by Elton John. Thank you. But he wrote in. He said, "You guys are awesome, and I have never even seen an Amiga before." So he says, "Thanks for all.
Hey,
Thanks
you
for
got something. You and him got something in common.
thanks for all the great entertainment." His name is Dell is Dreamy.
Dell is dreamy.
Like Del Shannon, baby.
You sure it doesn't mean Dell the computers?
No, because it's only one L. Like Del Shannon.
You think that's who he's talking about? Maybe his wife's name's Dell.
No.
Or husband, kid, car, dog.
There's only one Dell. And
Del
he sang
Shannon?
Run Away.
Well, you're right. That's a good song.
Yeah.
Has never seen an Amiga.
He's never seen an
What the hell
Amiga.
he's filming across us?
Maybe through ARG. Our sister show. You should watch it. It drops every Wednesday on our YouTube channel. So, Aaron, this concludes the feedback. It was a light week for feedback.
It was.
Thank you, Dell, for writing in.
What show did we do last week? I can't. Oh, it was Soccer Kid.
Soccer Kid.
Soccer. No one likes soccer apparently.
No, it's not really popular outside the United States.
You know, I watched some soccer the other day.
What did you watch? Premier League?
I don't know. It was on ESPN while I was at this restaurant. Man, I couldn't get out there quick enough.
What restaurant were you at that was playing soccer?
Let me tell you something I thought about this. I don't want to rag on anybody here, but I'm sort of gonna.
Rooney?
You know, ESPN's in trouble.
Yeah,
They're in
they're
big
letting
trouble.
go people.
Now, what have you noticed? What's happened? Remember when ESPN was up here? It was high. It was way up. And now it's slowly sliding. What have they done in the last few years? What have they started doing? They're pushing soccer more and more. What's happening? Popularity nosedive.
The more you push it, the more people
so they're
run
gonna
away.
meet right in the middle.
Right at the bottom of the graph is where they're going to meet.
You know,
when they go out
Americans,
of
we just don't dig it.
No.
And to be honest with you, we don't dig football anymore either.
No.
It's all coming apart. It's all coming. We don't got no. I tried to watch a baseball game the other night. They're instant replaying. What? It was a stupid. I just sat there. I was like, what just happened? What, the umps are meeting for something?
Yeah.
I'm like, when did?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm out. I was out. I gave up. I read an article that I think it was the who are the two crummiest teams? It's not the Marlins. It's the other Florida team or the other
Tampa Bay, the Rays.
Them. They just dropped their all-star player, and for him, they got nothing. They're so cheap and crummy. They're not even a team. They're just they're a loose conglomerate of guys in the same outfit. It's what they are. Do you know what I'm talking about here?
No.
Yeah, I was reading ESPN. They're like, yeah, these guys are idiots, and here's why. So their all-star just signed to the Pirates this year. He's like leading the league.
Well, baseball's been hurting this year because even though it's almost May, it's still 30 degrees outside.
Did you see the game last week where the White Sox drew? I think it was like 500 people.
Yeah, like 500 people.
They showed the stands. There was no one there. This is like if we had a concert or something. It'd be very similar.
Yeah. Elder Beerman's going out of business.
Really? Oh, man.
Can you believe it? You need to go in there and get some deals.
I don't wear women's dresses that often.
I wear Elder Beerman apparel quite often.
Then I think you answered your question as to why I'm not going in Elder Beerman.
You don't.
I cannot pull off whatever. I can't pull off the checkered sweater vest.
The sweater vests? Oh, I load up on them when I'm
like
there.
Boat Junior. Hey, everybody. That's the way you talk. I'm Boat.
With the shoulders up too. I like that.
Hey guys, it's me, Boat. Look at my sweater. That's my impersonation. What do you think?
I feel like we can't pad this out anymore. Let's go on to the news.
Oh, we're padding? Is that what that was? That's the kind of entertainment that people that don't like the Amiga tune in for.
That's true. No, Dell's in heaven right now.
We're going on tour. It's up time for the Amiga news. Let me get out my phone and have a look. So, right out of the gate, we're going to talk about our beloved brother, Chris Fold.
Chris Fold!
That's right. A new Amiga in the making, Boat? Did you see this? A new Amiga in the making, Amiga X. Sounds pretty cool.
Well, I don't know if you've checked out this site lately, but they've taken it all down.
Yeah, yeah, Amiga X, not a new Amiga in the making. I will say I like the website. I noticed this when I tried to look into this. I was like, what am I seeing here? And I still don't know. So can you explain what this is?
Yeah, so what these guys are trying to do is they're trying to create what appears to be a full-size keyboard emulator-based Amiga, not unlike the Super Nintendo Mini, this NES Mini.
Oh, so they're trying to do my thing.
Right, they're trying to do your thing. They're
Right.
pulling the rug out from under you. They took your idea, which they clearly stole from watching
Because no
Amigas.
one has ever said that but me, on anywhere.
And they've built this. I don't want to get involved. They've built this front end that actually looks very impressive.
Yeah, it looks nice. Eh?
It's mouse driven.
Yeah,
And
I would hope.
And being the Amiga, and I guess that their plan is to bring this to market in some way. However, it looks as if they are going to pull the cards back to the chest for a while until
So
they get some particulars worked out.
Amiga X has been removed for retooling.
Right.
Understand. Speaking of something that was needs retooling or is tool-like, let's go up to Mr. Fold's next submission. I found this highly interesting. New ARM-based Amiga OS variant in development. No.
Yeah, this
was incorrect.
This was the most controversial Amiga news story of this past week. Apparently, this was reported that there was this John Ansenden.
Wow, what a name.
Yeah, he's, I guess, this was reported that he was working on this thing, and then the next day John was like, whoa, back the truck up. This is not what it appears to be.
What I liked, if you read his comments, he's like, I was just discussing this in a public forum, and then the next thing I know, wham, So we will see. I will say I've read something from John before because he's not a big fan of Cluanto, and we've went down that road. I like Cluanto's stuff, but some of the things they do, I'm not real keen on. And so there you go. So, but anyway, yeah, and some places got hot water. I'm not going to go into that, but clearly,
if you want to get outraged, just join any Amiga Facebook group, and you can join the mob at being outraged.
Except ours.
Yeah,
we're
happy.
Cool.
Yeah, we're all cool all the time.
And then as a sidebar, more padding. No, as a sidebar, be cool. We're all. It's for God's sakes. It's an old computer. What are we doing here? No fun. There's no fighting.
You shouldn't.
We're the cool community.
Right.
Everybody's laid back. We're not, but we should be. Right?
We're a small enough group as it is. We don't need to further fracture. What we have.
Absolutely not. Listen. Let people do what they want. If they want to do this or that, that's cool. You've got the Amiga at the pad, right? You got the emulator. It's all good.
Yeah.
There's no reason to fight or get upset with each other. No flaming. If you guys got a vampire, good on him. Have a ball. If you don't have one, that's cool. Why fight about it? Is it me?
That's what the internet seems like it's for.
I know. You know me. I'm a peacemaker.
You are. You're a lover, not a fighter.
That's right. That's exactly. I love you, Boat.
Thank you. I love you too.
I'll fight you later. So next on the docket, you can see our boy Dreamcatcher. I say that it's sort of derogatory because he's a man.
He's all man.
That's right. Big DK. Ground control to Major Pond.
Oh, I love
Going back to what made him a star.
Yeah,
right?
this he rode the coattails of his James Pond review all the way to glory, Amigos glory.
No, really, that was I read that very first when I was just like, who the hell's this guy?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Commander Stud with his writing of godlike abilities.
Yeah.
And so he's back.
I had no idea that there was a third James Pond game.
I knew there was, but we've never looked at it. But it looks interesting. Of course, he goes in depth. Did you read through this?
I have not read this yet.
I may have to. I've never played this game, actually. I've got it, obviously, but I've never played it, so it's on my list now. Put it on the list, Boat.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dreamcatcher in all of his glory. Big, long article. And it was good, too. Speaking of Dreamcatcher, because I don't know if we mentioned this last week. I think we did. Did you look at this? How do you describe this video he's released? The one right there. Did we look at that last week? 6 Amiga games you've never heard of.
I don't think that we talked about this.
This was great, and once again, he's made the transition into video seamlessly. It was really good. And it's been super popular too. I mean, but it's also absolutely bonkers. So it starts off with the bronies. But hey, whatever toots your horn.
That's right.
But I love Dreamcatcher. His stuff is good. It's all good. Really, this is gonna sound really arrogant or something. And I'm not about arrogance. But everyone that provides stuff for our site is the best person on earth, except for me, who's clearly I am bringing up the rear by a long margin. So we should probably go ahead and mention our sister show, which you already mentioned once. But let's beat that thing to the ground. This week, should you care to join us, we have looked at crazy games on, what is it, the ZX Spectrum, or
That's
ZX,
right.
if you will. Me and Boat, we took the dive and picked a couple games. We picked Death Chase, clearly the finest game ever made.
Mm-hmm.
And we also had a look at School Days. School Days, also a very interesting game. And they were a lot of fun. We had a good time playing with the ZX stuff, didn't we, Boat?
We did.
And if you stick around for next week's show, we're back in it with some Amstrad stuff.
That's
we're going
right.
crazy. It's crazy time.
So if you only listen to the audio version of the podcast, ARG Presents is on a separate feed. You can find that at amigosretrogaming.com. You subscribe there, or subscribe through iTunes. And Mondays on YouTube is when Amigos comes out. Wednesdays is ARG Presents, and Friday is Insert Disc 2, our off-topic
And
show.
let's talk about Insert Disc 2.
All right.
So we've actually put out a couple. I don't think have we ever mentioned Insert Disc 2 on the show?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So a couple weeks ago, we did an episode on arcade collecting, which I thought was kind of fun. And then last week, and I was real happy with this one, just got released, hot off the press. I think it just came out today. Our talk about my trip to Braxton County to come face to face with the Braxton County /Green/ Flatwoods Monster.
Do they ever try and combine all the names into one somehow?
No, they don't ever do that.
Like the Braxwoods,
Here we go.
the Brax. Maybe that's why they don't try
That's
and
why
put
they
it
don't
together.
do it, because I think to themselves, we'll look like fools if we try that. What were we thinking? So yeah, if you're into, Insert Disc 2 is our crazy, just talk. It's sort of like what our pre-show used to be, or post-show, but we just figured, screw it. Let's just put
We're putting it out
there
for everybody.
Now, do you want to hear me and Bo ramble on about the stupidest things you could think of? Only you can decide.
Clearly you do, because you're listening to us right now.
Rambling on. If you like that sort of thing, I mean, you're in.
If you want to listen to that without even the pretext or pretense of Amiga, then Insert Disc 2 is the show for you.
Yeah. You got the little sound effect come from the Amiga. So you got there's that.
That's true.
So it's all about the Amiga all the time. So anyway, if you're into that stuff, it's darn. I enjoyed recording that. You did a stream this week of Super Nintendo games, I believe.
Right. We took a look at some different Super Nintendo games, none of which I can currently remember at this time. Oh, we did Super Black Bass, my favorite fishing game.
Super Black.
I love Super Black Bass.
The name of that thing. I don't know what it is about it. Why does it creep me out like it does?
I played that for a while, and we took a look at some of the other Super Nintendo and Nintendo games. Thanks again to Christopher Hassel and his generous donation of a Super Nintendo Mini.
That was super nice.
Yeah.
Me and honorary one night only Amigo Leroy got together last Saturday night for the midnight special, where we played Amigo. We played one Amiga fighting game, but mostly arcade fighting games. Had a malfunction at the junction with my, the not PAL Amiga is just killing me. The PAL, everything's in PAL. It just drives me nuts, and so it makes it hard to record some of that stuff. So we did a lot of arcade stuff, though, and you can see me wail on Leroy. I will give Leroy credit, though. He actually won. He beat me like a dog at Darkstalk. I mean, just crushed me. He knew how to play the fish guy. He didn't tell me. Smart guy. He did a little guitar picking in there. He stole your gimmick and opened us up with a.
Yeah,
you and him should have like a dueling guitars segment.
I need to watch that. That sounds good.
Oh yeah, and Larry's starting his own channel here soon. He's going to do. It's all about Amiga. No, it's not. It's all about his music and and his band, Leroy's Musical Freak Show. which they are spinning back up. So I'll link it when it comes out.
All right,
Leroy's
sounds
a good
good.
guy, old friend of mine. So we like.
You can see more of them in our one and only episode of Amigos role playing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Leroy was in that one, wasn't he? So that we did a lot of action this week. A lot of good stuff going on in the Amiga world. Can you think of anything else we need to cover on the news?
I don't think so. I think it's time to dive right into this week's game.
Now, let's talk about this week's game. And full confession, this game should not be played in a week. It needs a series of years to be played appropriately, because this is one deep, deep game. But we gave it a shot, and we will try to at least scrape the surface of what this game is. The game is, of course, Hired Guns. By the way, at home, if you see that I wrote this in the smallest conceivable text. I don't know why I did that. So when you see me looking at this thing like this, remember
it's an extra echo effect. Did
you ever watch Twilight Zone?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the episode with
the
Burgess
broken
Meredith?
glasses?
That's what this is, right? There was time. There was, and that's what he says.
Yeah.
That's the joke. What? Just cut that. Okay. Don't cut nothing. Just leave it. It's all gold.
I never cut anything.
I know you don't. It hurts me. So, Hired Guns.
Before we start, we should say that this game was given to us for play from.
They gave it to us?
Well, it was suggested to us by Amigos Game Selection Committee member Figgy CTZ.
The Fig.
Yeah. Okay, onward.
Thank you. Anything else? You want to let me talk again? You just jump right in.
Okay.
Just smack me next time. It makes it easier. So, Hired Guns.
Did you know they're closing down the Little Beer Man?
What?
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to hire a gun here in a minute. Hired Guns. It came out in '93, Boat. This bad boy shipped on five discs.
Now, have you seen the playthrough where the guy does the disc swapping?
Well, this guy did the disc swapping before I watched any playthrough.
Oh.
Because I thought, I like to play these games in their natural habitat to absorb the experience of playing the games. I think you're talking about the nostalgia nerd. It did that. I like his stuff a lot, but he's right. It took me from the time I started until the time I actually physically could do something in the game. It took like 4 minutes, and that's at top speed.
Right.
Swapping, and that's when I immediately stopped playing with discs. and keep in mind, I've got the Go Tech. I stopped Tech. I loaded up Amiga Forever.
WHD.
I don't have anything bad to say about Cloanto, and used it from there. So anyway, 5 discs. That's 1 disc. That's 2 discs too many. It's a lot. And this game has a lot of swapping in it. Now, this was published by Psygnosis and developed by DMA Design Games. I love it.
First, there was Walker.
No, there was Menace.
Menace.
So, what do you know about DMA, Bud? Well, I'll tell you what you know.
Okay, tell me what I know.
Name all the games they developed for the Amiga. What's how many you can get?
Okay.
They only had a few.
Lemmings.
That's all the Lemmings. That's right.
Okay. Menace.
That's 2.
Walker.
That's 3.
The Owl game.
No.
That was Menace, right?
No.
What was the Owl game?
Owl game was Agony.
Oh, they didn't do Agony?
No.
This game.
First, there was Menace. Then, a
Blood
DMA
Money.
Design
Yeah,
game.
that's where that comes
you gotta
from.
say it right.
Okay.
Blood Money.
If you give me
There's a whole lot more coming. Yeah. So, these guys, every game a winner, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, winner
every
defined
single
loosely.
game a winner, as far as I'm concerned. So the fella that really was behind this, and this guy's he's a quadruple threat coder, graphics guy. He came up with the concept. He did the sound effects. Scott Johnson. He is a stud. He did all the DMA stuff. Plus, he did Colonization and UFO. Remember that UFO, which is a very popular kind of real-time strategy game, or is it turn-based? Turn-based strategy game.
Right. XCOM.
Yeah, that's right. So, that's the American name. So this was an all-star cast. They had the whole DMA gang, on this game. And some people, maybe not you, some people consider this their finest achievement. And some people even hold this game higher than Lemmings.
This game is very well liked.
This game is, even if you don't like the game, the actual feat that they pulled off in this game is unbelievable. So let's just get to the nitty gritty here. Hired Guns is a game that takes place and you've got on a screen that is divided in 4 ways. Okay, you've got 4 little screens. Inside each of these screens, effectively, is a character that is separate from the other 3. They can in a 3D environment. Now, is this Doom? No, but it's as close as you're going to get without actually being a first-person shooter. Would you give me that? I think on. I mean, it's sort of like it's screen-by-screen movement, sort of like. What I first saw this, it reminded me of Waxworks. Mm-hmm. It's very similar, isn't it, Boat, to Waxworks in the way your guy moves. So, what is this game? Well, the game has a backstory that is like a novella. It's a lot like Waxworks. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm going to read this whole thing, and I was like, I can't get through this thing. I mean, it's a monster. I'd still be reading, but basically. Your guys, you pick a team of hired guns, mercenaries, and the goal is to assemble this, basically a detonation device to blow up this structure. Okay, and you go through a series of levels to do it. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I didn't blow up jack squat. I was nowhere near getting through this thing. I went through all the tutorial. Thank God for the tutorial. I'll tell you that right now, because I learned everything I know about the game through the tutorial levels. You pick a team of guys from 12.
There's a ton of guys.
There's 12 guys. Now I wrote down all their names, believe it or not, because I'm a crazy man, and they're actually pretty cool. I mean, I have to say, I like, again, it gives you that many choices, and they're neat. And they've, of course, in the manual, they've all got backstories. I'm going to read some of the names. You got Rorian D. Verge. You've got Des Verger. Now, let me get into, I'm not going to get all these, but some of these guys and girls are people. Then you've got some robots in there, too, or some kind of android-y type creatures, and they make up different, sort of like, I guess I would go with archetypes. You've got fighters, you've got smarter people, you've got demolition types, you've got medics, right? Very important. So you assemble this team however you want, and then the game begins, and it's split up into missions, and you will take your team into the mission. Now you can play this game really several different ways. You can play by yourself, which in my opinion is god awful. I can't control that many people at once. It's just too much. It was too much stuff for me to handle. You can also play this with a couple people, and you can actually play it with 4 people. Get this: you got you got a joystick, keyboard, and 2 mice. That's how you play it.
Okay.
And which that's cool. I'll give them credit on that. Mm-hmm. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be the way to play this game, because it is. Don't get me wrong, they do some intuitive things to make it a little easier to play with multiple people. But really, you've got multiple people doing multiple things. This game has a lot of switch puzzles and a lot of that sort of thing.
It's sort of Lost Vikings in first person.
Well, it reminded me a lot of, like a Doom in some ways. You have access cards and keys you've got to get as you go through it. You're often hounded by these sort of mutants that play into the storyline that you've got to kill. So let's talk about how you control this game. What did you think about the controls? You want to talk about those controls a little bit?
Well, I mean, it's all mouse based.
Yes.
Or
it's cursor based, because if you can use a joystick and keyboard,
if you're, I want to compare it to Waxworks so much because we just covered Waxworks,
right,
and they're similar games. I thought that I could move around easier in this game than Waxworks. I felt that I had more of a sense. It's like whenever you click forward, you're moving through. It was like you're moving through space. It's a more convincing illusion of moving through space.
Yes.
I felt like I always felt like I wanted. It kind of reminded me also of Alcatraz, because you're forced into this 4-player thing. You've got to play with 4 guys. So I always felt like, man, I wish I could just open up this screen and I could really see more of what was going on if it wasn't so cramped. I thought that the way that you have to select your weapon was not ideal.
It seemed like it was too many clicks to equip stuff, especially because monsters will attack you without warning. However, I felt like the combat was much more intuitive than Waxworks, but it was also more gun based. I mean, you point at the thing and you fire and it dies.
The controls, in some ways, they were frustrating. There are shortcuts to get your gun up and stuff.
Okay.
I learned, but the controls are, you ever play Diablo? Mm-hmm. You know how you click to get places? Mm-hmm. I always hated that. Mm-hmm. I don't like using the mouse to get around.
Right.
Okay. So there you go. That said, they had their reasons for doing it in this game, and the multiplayer I'm sure was one of the reasons. It's very interesting the way that if you keep the mouse at the top of the screen, you've got your arrows, and you can go up, not left and right. You're not going to be. This isn't something where you're going to be strafing a sucker. You basically come upon someone, you pull that mouse down, and it becomes a gun sight, and then you shoot.
Right.
With whatever weapon you got. And there's a ton of weapons in this too, a ton of them, and so it's better than Waxworks, yes, in that way. And again, comparing this to Waxworks, I feel like we're doing this game an injustice because it's a much, much better and deeper game than Waxworks.
Yeah, I agree.
We're just comparing the actual movement to Waxworks because it's similar, just the way that one step at a time movement. This, by the way, just up front, this would be ripe for a remake with a proper engine. And I read that one had been attempted, but had been they gave up on it. I believe they were using the Unreal Engine at the time. So you can see why people might want to remake this, because if you had the 4 windows in high def with a nice smooth pitch, that would really make it fun. If you could actually get the full proper 3D as opposed to that one screen at a time gimmick that you had. So the game has 3 modes. Like I said, there's training mode, which gives you 5 missions that just show you how to play the game. Like the first one, you just have to leave. That's the
Get out.
one. Without any keys or anything. And you have to move each of your guys to the exits, which, hey, listen, I had no idea what I was doing, so I needed those things. Then you've got a full campaign mode, right? And so that's where you go all over the planet, which is called, the planet's known as the graveyard. And you go all over it, and you have 20 different areas, like 20 different places to fight, which is, that's pretty impressive. And you have to go around, and of course you come across all these puzzles. You have to fight all these guys. The terrain is really good. You've got water. You've got multiple levels. I mean, this stuff doesn't seem like that big a deal at the time. If you played a game I remember playing a game on the Coco called Dungeons of Dargoth, and it was a game that was sort of a pseudo 3D like this is. But I mean, they didn't do any elevations. There was no. It was just a straight on thing. And a lot of games, people take that for granted when adding elevation stuff was sort of a new concept. If you played a game like this, game's often compared to the Dungeon Master series, which didn't have the elevations and stuff, all the stairs and all the platforms and stuff. So. And considering this is split into 4 different screens, it makes it even more impressive. Now, having 4 screens on all the time has its disadvantages. In fact, a lot of them. This reminded me in some ways of the original Lotus, where you always have the screen was split. It's a cool gimmick, but when push comes to shove, I'd rather just have the full screen.
I literally just said that like 5 minutes ago.
Well, I agree. And one of the reasons I'd like to have the full screen is because everything is so tiny. I'm blind. I mean, you can see me reading this thing right here. The reason that they have 4 screens is obvious, but there is no way to knock it down. You're basically boned. So the third type of the third game mode is called short action. Okay, you get to pick the map, and you fight some enemies to reach a goal in the map, and that's pretty much that. It's like a quickie version. This game has a crazy plot, like I mentioned, but to summarize it, the year is 2712, and basically you are one of 12 hired guns. You've accepted a mission on the graveyard. The task: wipe all the genetic experiments on the planet out, and then pick up the 4 units of a nuclear generator, bring them to the command center, and nuke the planet. Nuke the planet. So
Man, it's echoes of Grisor.
Yeah. There are some similarities in a weird way.
Yeah.
We should mention the many, many things you can pick up in this.
Yes. They love inventory.
This is the super frog of this genre. There is a ton of things, and you can pick up so much that you can't pick up anymore.
You're over encumbered.
It's neat the way they do the stuff you can get. When you walk into a space or a square that's occupied by an item, it sort of appears in the side. I mean, you're not standing on it, and you can click on it, and you've got it. I like that. I mean, that's neat.
It makes it easy to know, hey, there's a thing here.
One of the problems I had, though, was just navigating to the inventory menu while I needed something quickly.
Yeah.
For healing, for example. Now, you can set that stuff up, but the problem I had is just that when I wanted to heal someone, I would be attacked and their healer would be killed. When I wanted to attack something, there'd be nothing there. I'd have to go back, get the healing. So I mean, there was always some annoyance, ineptitude on my part from being able to actually do 2 or 3 things
now,
at once.
this game does not have there's no series of commands where you can get your guys to just follow you, is there?
There is. Oh, yeah. You can. They'll follow you if you want. Even still, when you're in comp, one guy can't occupy a space with something else. And so often when I'd have all the team assembled, I usually, my usual setup would be, I always had a medic, I would have a fighter and a robot, and then I would also have another fighter. That's the way, a tough guy. And I would want to get those tough guys out to fight the whatever was there. And this is not a game that's intuitive in terms of positioning, all right? This is another area where having a human control these people would be a lot easier because you could at least kind of get everyone around where you wanted to go. Now, could someone that was a better hand at this than me do it? Probably.
Do you think it might be faster? What are your thoughts on actually setting up, the 4-player thing and actually using each method to control a guy? Do you think that might be more intuitive?
I never really thought of that. It's like those people that play 4 or 5 chessboard games at once. I don't think I could do that.
It would be difficult. I just wondered if that.
One of my problems with the game, so like Eye of the Beholder, where you've got a party of people, I have trouble. I'm old, and I have trouble using multiple characters. I knew about this game before we even had it come up, and I knew what it was like because I'd loaded this up back in the day, and it was just even as a younger guy, just was not good at this sort of game. I've never had the opportunity to play this with multiple people, but I'm going to play a 4-player game as soon as I can get enough people to come over. I've got the mice, I've got the setup, and what would help is a big TV. You obviously put this on 1084, you're cramped in there. This is a perfect example. Wouldn't it be nice to have the nice video output with the big screen TV, make it nice and huge?
Right.
But I think the majority of the fun would be in a game with multiple people. I just can't see how people could play this by themselves. Now, I watched playthroughs, and presumably one person was just whooping butt without any problems, but I couldn't do it. So this is one of those games. We've had a couple of these, like Syndicate was one, where I don't feel like a week is enough to really grasp the depth of it. I did watch the ending of it. I love the ending because it tells you what happened to each of the characters. Like a postscript to what happened.
Like the end of Killer Instinct.
I didn't know it did that.
Yeah.
Does it do that to every single character? I didn't know that.
Well, not with the character you're playing with.
No, every character.
All 12?
It goes through every single one.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow.
So at least what I was watching. Now they may have spliced it in. I don't know. But I thought it was neat that they would go over the characters and what happened to it. It's neat that they actually wrote an ending to it. You could tell the guys that put this out really cared a lot about what they were doing because it's an in-depth game. And as I read about it, there's a lot of stuff on these missions and stuff. These aren't plain Jane. These are pretty intricate missions that require 4 people to set off separate switches or to do different objectives or to do simultaneous things. I'm sure this was so far ahead of its time I can't think of a game like it. Can you, right off the top of your head?
No.
I'm not sure I've ever seen one before or since, except until the first-person Doom era.
Yeah. This game was really, really unique. I can't think of any other game like it.
I remember playing a game called it was called Red Alert Renegade, where you had a team that was trying to set off a nuke, and that's sort of casually reminded me of this. You had teammates that had to do certain things at certain times, but I mean, this was in the late 90s, late or early 2000s when we played it.
Much later than.
Oh, yeah. So I gave this a good look over in terms of reviews. This has an 8.19 on Lemon, which is a tremendous score for a game on Lemon. That's a real high score. When it was released, it did pretty well. Amiga actually gave it a 90. Amiga Force gave it a 97. Amiga Format gave it a 95. These are high scores. The one anomaly I saw was Amiga Computing only gave it a 62.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know what the problem was there, but they killed it. I looked at. Oh, by the way, there was a conversion of this on the PC, and I read an interview with a fellow that worked on it, and he basically said it was just like the Amiga version with a few more colors, but he said he really didn't think it added anything because they really couldn't do the colors didn't add anything to what they'd already made, so kind of a letdown there. They were making a CD32 version of this, which would have been interesting. And
did the CD32 have any 4-player expansion capabilities that have a multi-tap of any kind?
I don't think so. So I don't know how you would have. I mean, it had 2 joystick ports. It had if you had the right equipment, you could have a keyboard on it. I don't know what they would have done about that. That would have been tricky.
Maybe it would have. Who knows? It might have launched with a multi-tap.
That would have been financial suicide.
Well,
surely by then they would have realized that's not the right answer to do. But anyway, I had a look on eBay on this thing. It's available. If you're in the Netherlands, which we have someone in the chat right now that is up that, well, no, it's Norway. Norway, Netherlands is the same place, right? Stupid Americans. You were just talking about how dumb we were. There you go. So we've got it was $16 for the box. The box of this is awesome. It's got all kinds of goodies in it. In the UK, they're ranging from $17 to $35. There was even a copy of this in the US, $72 or best offer.
Boy.
So we won't be buying this one. I'm going to assume that this got an American release because most of the Psygnosis DMA stuff did. I think all of it did, actually, as far as I know. But this would be one to get. The box is really cool looking. I mean, there's a lot to like about this game. This is one of those games that there's a lot to like, and I have no beef with the game. It's just I'm not capable of being good at it, not by myself. And until I try it with 4 players, I probably won't go back to it. Sorry. But I thought it was pretty cool.
I think that it's a great concept. I think that for when you don't have 4 players, to make it as playable as they did, was impressive. But it was. You're going to have to make an investment, a time investment to get the most out of this.
I know. I watched the guys. I saw someone that had put up a playthrough, and it was like 5 hours.
Yeah.
It was a real, and these are people that are studs,
right?
It took me. I can't tell you how long it took me just to mill around the first couple levels. I mean, I was just like, oh god, and the levels are huge.
I thought it was neat the way that the players they'll put quotes up, like it adds some life to the game.
Yeah, there was a lot of attention to detail in this. Even the items you pick up, they look awesome. Like I said, the environment is cool. You can drown right away. I mean, there's. I like the fact that there's a lot of different areas. It's a sprawling game. I mean, the levels are large, and if you didn't have the map, you'd be completely boned. Even with the map, you're sort of boned. Anytime you can get lost, you can be darn sure that I'm going to be getting lost. And so I was lost a lot. And then you try to do this with 4 people. It was overwhelming to me.
Yeah.
So lovely.
All right, Aaron. Well. It's about time to talk about our lovely
and talented Patreon people.
Okay. I was wondering what you were coming up with there.
Last week, Aaron, there were no entries on our song contest. It's pretty clear that Billy Joel is a non-factor overseas. His appeal lies mostly on these shores.
I knew who Billy Joel was, and even I wasn't 100% sure what you were singing.
You got it. You got that one right off the bat.
It took me a long try. And of course, I think John knew.
If he did, he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
So last week's song was Anthony's song, Moving Out by Billy Joel.
Anthony's song?
That's the name of the song.
Really?
Yeah.
I never heard that before.
It's on The Stranger, my favorite Billy Joel album. But anyway, if you would like to guess this week's song, and it's going to be hard, I'm not going to lie to you. Then you can send your guesses to john@amigospodcast.com, and I will read all of the winning entries with a special flair on the air.
Is that what you're going to do? What is that? That's a flare?
That's my sound.
That sounds like your sexy noise.
That is my sexy noise.
I don't like it. I need an adult. We're off the rails.
Here we go. Bang on, bang, bang, bang. Dan Ross, Leaf Caroline, Alan Kebab, Donald Tyler, Lev Lord, John Marshall, Matthew Perron, Ricky DeRocha, Creepy, Deadboy Fixes CTZ, The Slow North, Stephen Sonnegarden, Mortensen, Edmund Hillline, Blinde 75, Christopher Hessel, Ravi Abbott, Chris Foles, Dreamcatcher, Lauren Giroux, Graham Vebke, Brent Dowdy, Lane Denson, Adam Battersby, O'Brien's Retro and Vintage, Gary Hucker, C. Brian Jones, Paul Harrington, Duncan Stiles, Anthony Jarvis, Tapes from the Crypt, Josh Nanwell Williams, Adam Bradley, Jonas Rulo, THT, Eric Nelson, Kim, Tommy Home, Bert Stad, Daniel Banks, Brutal Barracuda, Darren Coles, Jason Warnes, Pixels at Dawn, and Bjorn Barman.
I got nothing on that one.
I didn't think you'd know. Hint, it's college music.
Oh, no. That explains it. It sounded sort of hicky. I thought it was about Country Joe and the Fish or something.
If you'd like to be part of that illustrious list of names and support the Amigos podcast, you can check out our Patreon page over at amigospodcast.com/amigospodcast.com/amigospodcast/Patreon.
Man, there's a lot of slashes in there.
Yeah. I kind of forgot where I was in the URL midway through. If you want to find apparel, such as the shirt that Aaron is wearing right now, you can go to tpublic.com/stores/Amiga tees and get yourself
start slashing.
Yeah, just start slashing around.
You know, I was 2 hours late getting here tonight.
You were.
As you know. So the whole time I was gone, what were you doing?
Oh, you mean, well, I set up the podcast.
Did you set up a few of these before I got here, Boat?
Possibly got a little loopy.
Oh, I knew it.
So, Aaron, next week on Amigos, we are going to take a request from Amigos Game Selection Committee member Brutal Barracuda.
Double B. The Video Master. He has requested we take a look at Flight of the Amazon Queen. It's funny, we just covered a news story, about 2 months ago, where they had translated that, and I believe was it Spanish or German or something like that. So it's fresh in my mind. I remember telling you then. I was like, we gotta look at this. So that should be interesting. It's a
point and click adventure in the vein of the LucasArts games.
Okay, well,
without giving too much away, I've played a little bit of this game, and I like it.
Oh, you just gave some of it away.
Yeah,
you like it, eh? Well, that's good enough for me.
All right, guys, we will see you next week. Don't forget to check out our sister show, ARG Presents, and Insert Disc 2, coming soon to a podcast feed near you. We'll see you next Friday. Adios. And by Friday, I mean Monday, unless you want to watch live, because we're still going.
Adios.
If you want to watch us live, we're still rolling. We're not cutting off.
Wouldn't everyone just stop listening when we said adios?
No, I'll edit it. It'll be
okay.
And so we'll just pick it up from this right here. If you want to watch us live, we record Fridays at 5:30 or 8:30, depending on when Aaron gets here.
Traffic.
You can join the fine folks in the chat, like Ed Van Helen, UK Retro Gamer, Hasifa, Duncan Stiles, Pixels at Dawn, John Marshall, Henrik Anderson, all the awesome
UK.
guys. I say UK Retro Gamer. We'll say him again.
UK. Screwing with you.
Good night, folks.
Adios.
Adios.